I did mention your chair if you'd like to have that as a, accessory. That's optional. And I'm assuming you have your block and maybe your strap nearby in case we would like to have it to bring the floor up or make your legs longer. But just take a second. Let's start just lying on your back. Take your ankles out towards the edges of the mat. Drop your mid back. So if you have space in the small of your back and the floor, drop that down. Let your arms come out to the sides. Palms up is a gesture of receiving, so perhaps that feels right for you, turning your palms up. Just being open here at this moment. And before we do anything else, just close your eyes and just be you. Be enough. And be content with what we have right this moment. I'm seeing the world ramp up again. And I feel the tug of that habit to do too much, to get busy, to multitask, to take on everything and try to please everyone. So give yourself this space if that feels like that's happening to you. Resist that tug to fall into the trap of being distracted. Find your breath. We're inhaling, exhaling. Inhale and sweep your arms up above your head. And take a big stretch here. Maybe you can take your legs out even wider, so you're like snow angel legs. Arms reaching long up above your head. And make this energetic, so there's energy like I'm pulling from behind you on your fingertips. And then your friend comes in and is gently tugging at your feet. And this is what it feels like to be overextended, split in two, hard to concentrate on any one area, hard to settle into your breath. So then let that go. Draw your knees into your chest. Bring your arms and wrap them around the front of your shin. And then go the other way. Pull your shoulders up. Make yourself into a little ball, hugging it. And this is what it's like to be totally withdrawn. And again, it's still hard to breathe, and it's hard to be in your full expression of who you are because you're too crunched up, trying hard to withdraw, trying not to be seen. Let your legs go. And then just find a comfortable pose on the mat. You might like to have your feet on the floor, hips very grounded. Whatever feels good for you. What space do you have on the mat that feels nice for your body, where you feel like your body, your bones, your muscles can be awake but supported? Take a breath here. Find some alignment as you bend your knees and press your heels into the floor. And let's all move our hips up towards the sky for bridge pose. Maybe your hands rest on the floor beside you. Maybe they grip the edge of the mat so you really can focus on aligning your knees in straight line. Some of you might try interlacing your fingers behind the small of your back, squeezing your shoulder blades together. So we're walking our shoulders in together more narrowly, pressing your hips up. Let's take one more breath here and then release your hands. Lower down really slowly, thinking about keeping your knees straight together in track. So lower your hips very slowly, squeezing your glutes all the way to the floor, squeezing your lower abdomen. And once you've lowered all the way down, toss your knees to the left. Stay there for a moment. Feel that big stretch through your right hip. And then toss your knees to the right. Feeling the opening on the opposite leg, so through your left leg, left hip. Take a big breath in here. Come back up to center. This time, take your arms, reach them up above your head so your palms are up, the backs of your hands are laying on the floor, allowing us to have some more opening through the upper back as you drive your hips up towards the sky. So bridge pose again, but this time, unless it hurts your neck or your shoulders, in which case take your hands back down by your sides, hold on to the edges of the mat. Press your hips up high. My arms are reaching up above my head and I'm bringing the small, like the upper back up off the floor. So I'm really inverted here, driving through the heels so toes are light, drawing your knees energetically together, but they're not touching. Now we're finding that alignment. Everything's able to work together to hold your hips up. Are you breathing? Slowly lower down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Was anybody sore after our class last week? One of those classes. It was Wednesday or Thursday. As Tommy and Alanis would say, I was a wee bit sore in my bum.
Yes.
Windshield wiper your knees left or right. All right, friends, let's continue to dial ourselves up here. If that felt okay with your hands behind your head, do that again. Press your hips up. If you're already on your edge, so this is like 75% effort for you, you can stay here. If you're good, you're engaged, you're working, but you're not over the top, then pick up your right foot, take your leg up towards the sky. You're going to notice that makes your left hip want to drop towards the ground. That's your work right here, is to lift through your right heel, squeezing through your left hip. This is so good for your tush and your back. Pushing up, and I've got my arms up above my head, so I'm not having my hands do any of the work. You guys look awesome. Breathe here. Good. Keep your right leg up. Lower your hips all the way down. Good work. Bring your hands. Find the back of your right knee with your right leg up towards the sky. And then lift your shoulders. My left leg is on the floor. Gently bring your right knee towards your nose. And this is the place where, even if I don't remember to tell you, you know you have straps, you know you have ways now that you can accommodate making your arms longer if you need to. You could use that strap, but we're not hanging onto the foot, we're just hanging onto the leg. So you're bringing your leg towards your chest. Good. All right, lower your shoulders. Keep that right leg as our working leg. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Little reclined pigeon here. Oh, that feels so good on Saturday morning. Lift your left leg and grab the back of your left thigh. If that's too much for you, you can just keep your left foot on the floor. Push your right knee away with your right hand. Take a breath in here and a breath out. Gently lower your left foot to the floor and uncross your right foot off your left knee. Take your arms back up above your head. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, bring all your awareness to your heels as you drive your hips back up towards the sky. We're back in bridge pose. If your neck or shoulders are bothering you with your arms up above your head like this, then just change. It's fine. Take them down by your sides. All right, we're really keeping strong through the right leg. So bring your awareness to your right leg. Notice where your hip is in terms of being lifted from the floor. It's going to stay like that as you stabilize and then bring your left leg up towards the sky. Pressing your hips up as much as you can. Good. This is challenging. Drive through your left heel. If you're wobbly, that's okay because you're learning to stabilize. Press through your left heel up towards the sky. Think of lifting your back up off the mat. Breathe here. Good. Lower down nice and slow. Keep your left leg up. Bring your hands and reach up. Grab the back of your left leg and lift your chest. Bend your elbows a little bit. Gently bring your thigh towards your chest, lifting towards nose, towards your knee. Good. Maybe you can point and flex your left foot. Maybe you can just recognize, I think that the awareness when you go slower and you just pay attention is nice when you realize what's the tightness feel like? Is one leg different? Is it more than you expected? Is it different than you expected? Lower your chest to the floor, cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh, getting ready for reclined pigeon. Pushing that left knee away like a figure 4, and then lift up your right foot and keep that knee bent as you bring your hands behind your right thigh. Gently hug your left shin closer to your chest. I like to catch the back of my right thigh with my hands, and then if I can, use my left elbow and find my left thigh and kind of push that away as well. One more breath here. Release your hands, bring your foot to the floor, put both feet on the floor, and let's rock and roll up the mat. I want you to see if you can safely rock and roll up the mat a few times and then stand all the way up without your hands. Just try it. Here we go. Rock and roll. So rock and roll a few times. Let's try it. Stand up.
Oh, well.
There you go, right? All right. So there was a study. Oh, I have to find it. There was a study that was done that used that as a longevity test. They looked at people at different ages, like every decade, and to see that's one of the things that if you can still do that, then you're I guess you have enough mobility and strength to stay without injury. So if you see people rolling around on the floor, that's what we're aiming for, right? True story. All right, friends. We're not going to use the chair just yet, but have it at the front of your mat if you want it. Take a big breath in with me. Reach up. Open up your back. Exhale, forward fold. Take your feet about 2 fists apart so you've got some space there. Let's take a second and find hands to the ground or to your block. So as you fold, you can soften your knees. Let your head hang and find a place for your hands. So good. I like to see how some of you automatically grab the block because you know it's going to help you to be more successful. And so while you're here, let's just pedal out your legs, bending one knee as you straighten and push back through the opposite hip and leg, and then switching. So just bending one knee at a time and feeling the counter stretch is that opposite straight leg. That's where you're driving that hip bone back. And if you're not dropping your chest and your crown of your head towards the floor, do that now. Drop it all down. One more breath here. Good. If your fingertips are comfortably on the floor, you can keep them there. If they're not comfortably on the floor, like you're really straining to reach the floor, go ahead and grab your block so that you've got good grounding of your hands underneath your block, because we're going to do a standing split which is basically lifting up one leg while we're in this forward fold. So you want to have good contact of your hands on the block. Good. Drop your weight into your left foot. Gently extend your right leg up and back. So remember, there are different levels of the block. And if your fingers are on the floor, you want to tent your fingers so we're not just like collapsing here. Think of driving your nose towards your left knee and point your right foot, lift it up towards the sky. This requires a lot of strength and flexibility, which is like part of our job, right? We want to be strong and bendy because that's what we want to be in life too. We want to be strong on our path, but adaptable and agile. Breathe here. Good, harder than it looks. Bring your right foot down. Stable here, gently roll all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Oh. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. All right, we're gonna do the same thing, standing still on the left leg, lifting the right, but this time you're welcome to use your chair because we're gonna bring our body more parallel to the floor, or no chair at all. Take your hands to heart center. Stand on your left foot, lift your right heel. If you've got that chair, make it so that it's out in front of you enough that you have, see, I have a relatively straight arm. If you've got your hands at heart center, what you're working to do is to level that right hip and hold your gaze steady with your back heel flexed. Strong left leg. Just for another moment, breathe. Good. Now, can you lift your torso as your leg comes down? Even if you had the chair to kind of make that transition. Good. Nicely done. Big breath in. All right, no major crashes. I'm excited about that. Take your feet hip-width distance apart again. Enjoy that forward fold. Exaggerate it. So don't just drop your head like you're not even paying attention. Enjoy that forward fold. Roll all the way down. All right, let's do the other side. Find the weight shifted over into your right foot. Figure out where your hands are going to be. Tenting fingers or holding onto the block. Wherever you are, no white knuckles, all right? So it's not a death grip on the floor because we're using our legs, core, and glutes to stabilize. Gently start to lift your left leg up towards the sky. And I don't really have a flat back here. I'm allowing my chest to drop towards my right thigh. That gets the intensity like up by 10, 20%, but that's okay. We're lifting here. And can you push off through your right leg to make your left leg push up higher? So if you're all collapsed in the hips, can you push off and lift? Again, what's the purpose of this? It's not so that you can look really cool. It's working on both strength and flexibility side by side. Good. Gently control this motion. Bring your left foot down. Whew. Roll all the way up. Roll all the way up. Shrug your shoulders a few times. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center to reset. Good. Now we'll stand on the right leg. Use your chair or hands at heart center for your balance. Recognizing I love balance poses because they're really challenging. You have to be strong. You also have to be kind of flexible, and your mind has to really drop everything else and think. So try that with your gaze very steady. Take your left foot back. Hands can be at heart center or reaching for that chair in front of you. Hold your gaze looking at one tiny point. Now, where's the breath? In through the nose. You've practiced this. Out through the nose. If you're wobbling, that's okay. Try to steady. If you fall down, get back. Good work. Can you lower your leg as you lift your torso? Both feet on the floor. Nicely done. Step your right foot way out wide. Turn to the side of your mat. Might want to grab your block as you put your hands down on there. Take a big forward fold. This is just to stretch out the backs of your legs. If you can, shift your weight from side to side a little bit. That's nice. You can take that block with you kind of as an anchor for your hands if your hands don't reach the floor, bending into each knee. And as you drop your weight side to side, let that opposite knee bend so you can get into that outer leg. Good. And the inner thigh on the opposite leg. Oh. Good work, friends. Bring yourself back to center. Nice flat back, hands on your hips. Stay here for a moment. Your feet are both facing the same direction. Hands are on your hips. Nice flat back, strong core. Like the small of your back right in between your shoulders is doing the lifting first. Lift up, lift up, lift all the way up. Good work. Big breath in, reach up. And exhale, bring your hands together to heart center. Turn your toes out, drop your tailbone down. Find ourselves in our side facing squat here. So a squat, a plank, and a push-up are considered the three functional movements. All right, and we do all of those in yoga. Actually, we just don't call them that. So let your heels kind of find their way into the floor like you were burrowing into the sand, shifting your hips a little bit side to side till you find this place where you're really working. Now draw your ribs in towards your center line so there's no leaning forward. You're really nice and strong up here. Shoulders are level. Options for your hands. You can take those arms right out to the side. If that's too much, bring them back together at heart center. Thumbs on your chest will help you with balance. Let's stay right here. Breathe. Close your eyes. And here's the moment where you say thank you to your body for being healthy and strong enough to try. Not for being perfect, not for being something that someone else wants it to be, not for being beat up, just being strong enough today, healthy enough today to try. Stay with me. One more deep breath in. If you're not breathing, now's a good time. Good work. Straighten out your legs. Take another forward fold. Pivot your toes as you do that so your toes go forward. And find an anchor for your hands. If your fingers can reach your big toes, then take your peace fingers, hook your big toes, and you're in a full bind here. If you're like, no way, then just rest your hands on the backs of your calves. Use some energy here to pull your body down. Really nice. Good. All right. Can everybody grab their block and put it right in front of them without having to like run into another room? Fabulous. All right. Still in our forward fold, put your right hand on the block. The higher the level might be the easier to get the opening. We're going to twist our left shoulder up and peel our left arm up towards the sky in that side facing forward fold. Good. Oh, feel that like really stretching through that whole left mid back, lower back, yeah, left hip. And I'm really got my hands nice and open on my left hand. So I can, it's like a paddle. I'm pushing that hand back. Oh. Finding your breath, being willing to be pushed a little bit today. Good. In control, bring your left hand down. And we're just going to switch. Left hand finds anchor on the block. My feet are still in this wide side facing forward fold straight ahead. Pushing the weight into the left arm as I peel open the right ribs and right shoulder. Take your right arm up towards the sky. Palm is open, and it's like I come up against you. Imagine I'm coming up against you and I say, I'm just going to push your hand back. I'm just going to push your hand back. I'm just going to push your hand back. Notice that you're rolling your feet level on both arches, and you're able to really push off through your right hand if you can. Back, good. All right, breathe in, nice and controlled, come back, breathe out. Good, toe heel your feet together, stand all the way up. Let's reset with a tree pose. You've got your chair so that you have options if you want to use the chair so that you can go into like a more elaborate tree. We'll start by standing on the left foot. Remember, you've got options with tree. You could just be here. You could be a kickstand on the floor. Or since you've got your chair, if you want to try, if you're feeling frisky today, take that leg all the way up, or this right heel comes across to the left hip bone. And then I have to drop the knee. Really nice, Chris. Good, Terry. Push off on your standing leg. So no bend in the left leg at all. Really plugging that leg in. Hands at heart center always help you balance. Then when you're ready, let's all try taking our hands up with our palms together today. If you're here, interlace your fingers and press your hands up towards the ceiling. If you're there, squeeze your glutes together so you're pulling your pelvis under and in line with your ribs. Take your arm bones back just a little bit. Excellent job. Can you stay in your tree pose and lean forward? Your chair might be there to help you out, so you can just go with one arm if you like. Just try leaning forward. So look, I'm striving to have like a flat back. Drop your gaze forward and down. Core work here, stand all the way back up. I know, that makes you start sweating, doesn't it? All right, release your hands, release your leg. If you've got the chair, you can just drop your hips back. Take this big forward fold, holding onto the chair. If you don't have your chair, then you can use your block. Take a nice forward fold here, just kind of wagging your tail, shifting out your hips. So without that integration, that strength, right? You've got bones, but you've got muscles. And if you don't have strong muscles, they don't hold up your bones. And the balance poses are really great at helping us to kind of create a benchmark for where we are with that alignment and strength, but flexibility too, right? Because if you can't have the flexibility to even pick up your knee and you don't have the strength to stand on one leg, then you notice it in both directions. So it's just really great awareness. Don't be mad about it either way. All right, we're going to stand on the right leg. So if you need to move around, you can. So this way, my right hand would be towards the chair. Standing on your right leg. Feel all 5 toes fan out on your right foot, and then start to find what's going to happen with your left leg. Wherever you are, your left leg is not with the knee pointed in front, it's pointed out. So that's what's difficult, right? Like imagine we're lying on the ground and I said we're going to rotate that leg out. So that's your tree. And I feel like resistance of the foot into your thigh helps you find that place where you're pushing your left foot, left knee bent back. Good, Tommy, really good. Squeeze those glutes. Some of you might want to go to the one that we were trying today. So, Chris, you were awesome on the other side. I'll try it with you. Ankle to hip joint here. All right, we're all going to start with hands at heart center. Take them up towards the sky, palms together. And then when you get there, interlace your fingers, turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Now press through your right leg, lift your ribs, squeeze your pelvis up underneath you, stable, reaching. Weeble wobbles, fall down, then get right back up. Come, reaching here. That's part of our discipline. All right, if you're okay with me, we start to push the tailbone back. Lean forward. You've got your chair. You can use your chair here if you'd like as well. Just leaning forward. This is core. This is stability. This is legs. This is mind. Stay with me. Breathe. Good. Can you stand back up? I cannot.
Okay, bye.
You did it. All right. All the way back up. Good work, guys. Let it go. Take it out. Let's tap out your feet. High fives all around. Whew.
Oh,
Whew. Whew. High five. High five. Chair time is done. That's nice. Fold forward and walk your feet backwards and make yourself into your downward facing dog. Feel that opening through your hips and the backs of your legs and your shoulders. Bend one knee, then the other here. Find your center. Inhale to your tippy toes. Shift forward to your high plank. Remind yourself what it's like to be in high plank. You're strong, you're steady, belly tight. You can modify, drop those knees behind your hips, and exhale back to your downward facing dog. Good work. Breathe here. All right, friends, we're going to do our flip dog.
oh dear.
And so you can drop to your knees, keep your left knee on the floor, and take your right foot is just going to go back with your left knee down, or from your downward facing dog, right leg up towards the sky, bend your knee. If your left knee is on the floor, pick up your right foot off the floor and start to lift your right hand. If your right knee is up, here we go. Drop it back behind you as you pivot your left foot. So now both feet are facing forward like the number 11. And I've got my hip bones up towards the sky. Flip your dog. Alana, you're rocking it, lady. Woo! Don't give up, Terry. Do the modified one to get the movement here. All right, come on back around. Here we go. Steady, steady, steady. Good. Rest. Drop to your knees. Come off your wrists. Rest. Crazy business, I know. Here we go. Interlace your hands behind your back. It's kind of fun to learn to do something new as long as you don't get mad about it, right? So do be careful of your shoulders, friends. So when you're doing that rotation, even if you're on the ground and you've got your leg up, you've got to let the rotation happen with the hips, and then I'm just opening through that shoulder. So that's the modified one, right? And so before you flip, it becomes really important that you do a little bit of as you flip, you have to shift your weight forward so I get a good stack on that arm, all right? See, if I'm back here, then I'm like really straining through this arm. So I've got to shift as I turn. So I've got plank arms. Okay? Okay. Downward dog. Take a breath here. All right, option to drop your right knee and just stay in your position here, right knee down, left leg up. That's where you start. Or from your down dog, left leg up. Both feel good, both have effort, both have a muscle memory. So either one is fine. If your right knee is down, start to pick up your left hand and drop that left foot behind you. If your left knee is up, start to shift the weight onto that stack of the right arm as you drop both feet to the floor. Turn your feet so they both face parallel, and then this left hand is just reaching back. Hip bones up towards the sky. Good. Belly tight. Now let's work on the transition. Just Take a pivot. This right arm stays right where it is. I'm just turning the arm bone. Come back around. Good, Chris. Good, Marco. Good. Hands to the floor, rest. All right, drop back on your heels. Stretch out your wrists. Take a second here. Let's stretch out our fingers and our wrists so you can engage your forearm up towards the sky and pull your fingers down. Close your eyes. Breathe. Really nice. Come back to your hands and knees. Do a couple cat cows here. Turn your right hand so your wrist goes forward and your fingers go towards your knee. And just press your palm down, rock back and forth a little bit. You'll feel this, some of you feel this really intensely through that wrist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No carpal tunnel for you, okay? All right, switch hands. Put your right hand back where it was. Turn your left hand so that you rotate the wrist forward. That eye of the elbow is all the way forward, fingers towards your knee, rock back and forth a little bit. If that's too intense, you can put that left hand on a blanket or a towel, elevate it a little bit. Good work. Everybody take a rest. Drop your hips back towards your heels. Forehead to the ground. Reach your hands behind you. You can just let them lay alongside you or rest on your back or reach for your heels. And I invite you to think for a moment about what you were doing and what your reaction was when our world dramatically changed in March or so of this year. And I invite you to be mindful that if you had some habits at that time that were not the best, or you had a lot of distractions, let's be careful that we don't just slip right back into the same place. Because what I heard from people at that time when the world kind of came to a screeching halt was people were a little bit like, whoa, I just needed to get off the ride for a second anyways and take a breath. Take your hands back above your head and on the floor and walk your fingers over to the right. And then take your left palm, drop it on top of your right hand. Big opening here. Keep your eyes closed. You don't need to watch what you're doing. Just walk your hands now through center and the other way. So to the left. Plant your left palm firmly down into the floor and then pick up your right hand. Put it on top of your left. Your head may not reach the floor. That's okay. Let's make this more about opening through that arm, through the shoulder. Through your hip. Right. Good work. Come back to your hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Once you get there, spread out all 10 fingers. Make sure your feet are about hip width distance apart. And hug in your belly. Squeeze your glutes. Strong arms. We're going to make our way to side plank. Go with me. Shift forward to your high plank. Option here to drop the left knee, but keep your right leg lifted if that's what you're going to do. If you're with me in high plank, drop your both heels to the left. Peel your right arm up towards the sky. Here's the modification. Left knee down, right leg comes up, and I just peel my right arm up towards the sky. Good. Awesome. Come back. Graceful, strong. Right hand down. Take a break on your hands and knees if you need it, or reset in your downward facing dog. Breathe. Let's think of this as the pinnacle of our practice, our breath, our flexibility, our strength, our effort, our willing to try. Come back to your high plank. Option 1, drop your right knee, pick up your left hand and your left foot. Option 2, drop your heels to the right. Peel your left hand up towards the sky. Stack your right arm. Good. Belly tight, strong, strong core. All this hugging in. Come back around gracefully. Push back to your downward facing dog. Good work. Last thing, bring your toes to touch. Bend your knees a lot. Take a little hop towards your hands. And then we're all going to lay down on our back. So
4 inches, okay.
yep, 4 inches is better than no inches at all, right?
Right.
That's what I say, huh? Starting somewhere. Okay, friends, you got this all the way down. Huh. Happy baby. Grab the outsides of your feet. Oh. Rock a little bit side to side. You know, when you put yourself into those positions where you're a little bit challenged and you really have to concentrate, what's great about that is that you can't pretend to be something that you're not. You know, I see a lot of people who pretend. Oh, they're really good at pretending. I do it too. I like to pretend to be something, but when you're really challenged, you can't pretend to be something that you're not. You can just be you. And look, guess what? Everybody is totally fine with that. Just be you. Release your feet. Soles of your feet together, knees out to the edges of your mat. This is called Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle. Your toes and soles of your feet are together. Knees coming out wide. Take a moment, place a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. Know that you are here with others. Five countries represented, and yet we can all hear the sound of one another's breaths. Use this moment for your gratitude practice. What are you grateful for today? Find the familiar sound of your breath. In through your nose, out through your nose. Gently bring your knees back together. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg out long. And then take a supine twist here, holding on to the outside of your right knee with your left hand. Peel your right knee over towards the left hip as you anchor your right shoulder to the floor. Drop your gaze towards your extended right hand. So I'm really pulling my right hip up off the floor by pulling the right knee over like it's going to rest on the floor outside of my left hip, but I have to keep my right shoulder glued to the mat. Big opening through your side waist, back, shoulder, hip. Close your eyes like everything inside of you was shaken up, and now it's going to settle, and it's going to settle in a way that is organized and aligned. Like if you took sand and arranged it in such a way that it had a beautiful pattern. Gently bring that knee back up to center. Reach for the outside of your right foot. Just taking this half happy baby here, left leg extended. Pulling your right knee down and out. So like I'm taking my right knee as if it's going to go to the floor outside of my right armpit. Right foot flat up towards the ceiling. Use your strap if it's like no way, no how you're getting a hold of that right foot. Good. Some of you may stay here. Some of you may play with straightening your right foot, maybe, or right leg. Maybe you can still hold on to your foot. Maybe you need to adjust your grip, hold on to the back of your leg, but play with straightening out that leg. Some of you may find that you can hook your peace fingers on your big toe. Some of you may be like, that sounds crazy, huh? All right, breathing here, let it go. Slide your right leg long and down to the mat. All right, before we do the left side, just do this with me. Right leg lifts and lowers. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. If you're good here, I invite you to lift your shoulders and add a little bit of a like upper core work here. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. If you're really good here, do this with your left leg at a hover. 3 more. Are you cussing at me underneath your breath? No. 1 more. I heard some rumbling. All right, both legs down. You good. Draw your left knee into your chest. Hug it in. Breathe here. Give your left leg a nice good squeeze. And then supine twist on this side. Grab the outside of your left knee with your right hand. Pull your knee over to the right hip as you anchor your left shoulder down. Drop your gaze towards the extended left arm. Oh. Breathe here. Let's give ourselves enough time that we meet resistance and we stay with it. So be willing to go to the place where you have resistance and then just stay there. Endurance is not always about like running full steam ahead. I think it takes endurance to also be able to be steady. Imagine if you were in a current that was moving very fast. You could just let go and go along for the ride. But if you were like trying to stabilize, stay in one spot, you'd have to have a lot of endurance actually to find the way that you could create that right resistance with your paddle to stay as still as possible. So endurance is not always just flying forward. It's to be steady as well. Bring their knee back up to center. Find the outside of your left foot. Half happy baby. Oh, nice opportunity to really try to anchor your knee down. Again, if reaching for your foot is too much, you could keep your leg bent, hold on to the thigh, but just make sure you're walking that leg out towards the left outer ribs, or use your strap. It's a really big tug down towards the floor here. Enjoy this opportunity to open up this hip. Maybe close your eyes, just breathe. And again, if you start to have thoughts of like stuff you've got to do, I always try to go back to just what am I grateful for right now? There's always an opportunity to say, I'm thankful I am strong enough today, healthy enough today, free enough today to try. All right, some of you may want to go ahead and start to straighten your left leg. Maybe hanging onto your foot, maybe hanging onto your leg, maybe hanging onto your big toe. Opening through the back of your left knee. Breathing here. Release your leg, gently lower your left foot to the floor. All right, you know what's coming. Straight legs, strong core, lift and lower your left leg all the way up so it's parallel and then back down. And good. If you want to add more, lift your shoulders, extend through your hands. If you want to make this like ab work, lift your right leg to a hover while your left leg goes up and down. Concentrate, set your gaze. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Good work. Rest. Put your feet on the floor, windshield wiper your knees side to side. Maybe take your arms overhead. And let's find our feet up today. So if you've got some way you can throw your legs up the wall, it's really nice to do. Terry mentioned at the beginning, she's been standing and sitting a lot, which always puts your ankles in a position where they're just like buckets, right? They're collecting fluid. So let's get our legs up today. One option, if you don't have a wall, is to just use your block, put your hips on it and elevate. But if you've got the support of a piece of furniture or the wall, you've got enough time to go get settled over there.
Quiet.
Before I was a nurse, I was a corporate trainer for Dale Carnegie, which is public speaking and business leadership course. I traveled and gave lectures and worked in companies helping them to improve their communications in their companies. And if you've not read any of the Dale Carnegie books, they're old, but they're really classic. And I came across this passage when I was looking at one recently about being yourself. In each chromosome, there may be anywhere from scores to hundreds of genes, with a single gene, in some cases, able to change the whole life of an individual. Truly, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Even after your mother and father met and mated, there was only one chance in 300 billion that the person who is specifically you would be born. If you had 300 billion brothers and sisters, they might have all been different from you. So be yourself. Dale Carnegie says, when I first came to New York from the cornfields of Missouri, I enrolled in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts because I aspired to be an actor. I had what I thought was a brilliant idea, a shortcut to success, an idea so simple and so foolproof I couldn't understand why thousands of people hadn't already discovered it. It was this: I would study how the famous actors of the day got their effects, and then I would imitate the best points of each one of them and make myself into a shining, triumphant combination of all of them. I wasted years of my life imitating other people before it penetrated my thick Missouri skull that I had to be myself and that I couldn't possibly be anyone else. Let your legs fall down to the floor gently. Move around, circle your wrists, take a breath, make your way up to a seat. You're going to have a wonderful rest of your day because you took this time for you. You took your body to a challenge. You took your mind to a place of being open and willing. I'm very grateful for that. Join me as we honor the light in one another. Namaste.